stage for Friday on the Sports Fix.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Throwing you the best sports commentary in town. The Sports Fix.
It's an addiction. The Sports Fix. We'll be right back.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck, home of the low price tire guarantee. QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Ohio knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This is Josh Tomlin of the Cleveland Indians, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
In baseball, miracles can happen when a team works together.
2 out, bottom of the ninth, down to their last strike.
The same is true in the fight against cancer. That's why MLB has teamed up with Stand Up to Cancer. Because we believe that when we all stand up together,
41,000 on their feet,
we can make cancer history.
Now everybody's standing. What a buzz in this building.
This is beyond a dream. Stand up with MLB at standuptocancer.org.
Now, back to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix, final segment across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you guys as we're closing down shop for the day. Don't go anywhere. We've still got quite a bit to get into here. And phone lines are open. 216-539-7535. 216-539-7535 is the number to call. Pick up the phone. If you tried to get through earlier, the phones are open now. And, of course, Facebook.com/The Sports Fix. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix CLE. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. Just moments from now when we get off the air, I'm looking forward to, hopefully having something to tell you guys about tomorrow. Got a big meeting here going down this afternoon that could definitely be good. Good things coming on the horizon here for the Sports Fix and you guys, the Sports Fix universe. So I'm anxious for that one, you guys, and can't wait to see what happens. And we'll talk about that, hopefully, potentially, here tomorrow. A couple of things I want to talk about, of course, looking at tonight. There's a lot of things going on, and in general, real quick before we get into the previews and looking at the games coming up tonight, I was looking, and you know what, just a simple look back over the last few years kind of shows this. I'm very interested to see, I don't know if you guys are following the World Cup, the basketball, the FIBA, as the Olympic team now continues its preparation for the hopefully to become the next iteration of Team USA. Kyrie Irving, the co-starting guard there with Derrick Rose. And, I was looking at some articles that were pointing out the growth of several of the other guys that are now considered some of the top young stars and performers in basketball, who also were very unestablished traditionally, as outside. You got to look at it outside of the way people look at it here in Cleveland, and really in a similar spot to Kyrie Irving, with a lot of question marks and a lot of potential but untapped or perhaps unhit into yet unreached potential, and some of the guys that have come out the other end of being around. And you know what, that's one thing I always talk about, no matter what sport. I've mentioned it there's intangibles. It's like when we were talking about Wiggins, and I said, I think his upside, some people argue the opposite and say he's got to be all on his own and be the man to get that alpha male. I also am from the school that thinks the opposite, where when you surround a guy with some of the best and the most talented people at what they do, that if you're good at what you do and you've got the right mindset, you can do nothing but thrive and get better. I do believe it. Now, some people don't react to that well, but to me, that there's a flaw with you there if that's the case, because the good ones do. But anyways, being around the elite players, being around top level coaching and all of that takes, and it's shown here, takes guys traditionally to another level. I'm very interested to see the evolution of Kyrie Irving. I mean, we needed to see it anyway with the changes to the team here and what kind of guy comes in now. Okay, you got the contract thing behind you. You've got completely different situation now than the one you ended last season with. So I was already interested to see what kind of growth we see or don't see. You may not see it out of Kyrie, but looking at some of the guys, look at Derrick Rose. He was 22 years old at the time that he went into FIBA, and you know what? He came out of that on the other side. Now, of course, he had a ton of potential, but on the other side of that, he goes into an MVP season right off the bat, coming out of being around that environment, practicing and learning each and every day and playing against some of the best players in the league and some of the best at what you do. Russell Westbrook, that's another one, he broke through following his time with the Olympic team, being able to perform at that level and around those guys. First season coming out of that, he makes the All-NBA second team. Kevin Love, the newest member of the Cavaliers, same thing happened to him. He followed up his appearance with being the NBA's most improved player. Tyson Chandler followed up his time there with being a top-level defender who was the difference maker, who helped Dallas win that championship. James Harden, another one. He was the sixth man with the Thunder, and he came through on the other side and had burst from a 17-point-a-game guy to a 26-point-a-game guy with Houston. And again, different situations and different circumstances, but enough of a sample of guys who were on the precipice of being better or worse based on their potential and their talent, and then coming through the other side of that Olympic or FIBA World Cup, whatever you want. It's the Olympic experience, regardless of what the tournament they're playing now is. At the end of the day, it's to forge the Team USA that's going to go on and compete at the next Olympics. So that's really got me intrigued to see if there's a different Kyrie Irving. Speaking of, got the email already. End of this month. We're 3 weeks away from Media Day with the Cavaliers. I'm already making preparations to get down there, and it's just amazing that there it is, already upon us. We're going to be playing some basketball before you know it here, man, as Media Day set for the 25th of this month. But it's going to be interesting to see. All of those things that I just said don't mean anything until Kyrie Irving goes out there and does it. He's played very well so far, and again, I want to see what he comes out the other side of. I agree with Vashon. Those guys were very good players. A lot of people would say the same about Kyrie Irving. I say that about Kyrie Irving. I think Kyrie Irving's a very good player. I don't think he's as good as the top people that support him think, that extreme, but I don't think that he's as down or as not talented as his truest detractors think either. I'm kind of in the middle ground on Kyrie. I don't go as far with the superstar side, and I don't go as far with the, not living up to what they think he could be or not as good as he's hyped up or whatever. I'm kind of in the middle there. So just curious to see what Kyrie Irving gets into training camp, and then you got a whole different dynamic once you get down to the regular season. So if you guys are following along on that, keep an eye on that, because you never know. That could be, and for those of you that had reservations about Kyrie and said, I want to see more, I want to see him improve on this, that, and the other thing, perhaps this takes him to that next level. I really do believe what I say. It doesn't matter if it's Kyrie Irving or whoever. I say the same about Dion. I think he learned a lot being a part of the select team and coming through. I just think when you're around all of the top guys and all of the things that come with that and that level, even in practice, if you're trying to get better, you can't help but get better. You have to be trying not to get better at that point. So hopefully Kyrie's out there trying to get better. And I've seen some clips of him in practice and some things, definitely relaxed, and he seems to fit, and feel like a part of that. But hopefully he grows from that. I could care less if he's making friends and having fun. I want to see how he grows as a basketball player. That's going to be very key into what the Cavaliers do this upcoming season, because I think everybody's focus is on LeBron. Everybody's focus is on Love. The Cavs are going to go, I don't want to say as far as Kyrie takes them, but Kyrie Irving is going to be a big part of what they do. I mean, he's going to be asked to do things he hasn't done, and I do believe there's going to be expectations, especially defensively, that he hasn't had the accountability. And you can, it's one thing to say accountability with Coach Brown. It's another thing to say accountability against the other team, against the other teammates on your team. And Vashawn in the chat room, I'm not talking about the quality of the games. I'm not in any way, when I say I'm talking about the experience. I look more at the inter squad practices, the day-to-day being around that group, preparing as that. The games I look at a little bit differently. I just mean being enveloped with the talents and with those guys around you, guys that have won championships, that have won playoff games, that have won, all of that, all the things that you aspire to do. I just believe that in life, when you want to accomplish something or when you want to get to the next level, you surround yourself with people that have already done what you want to do, people that got where you want to go, because that's where you have to follow the path. You have to follow the path, and you have to see how to get there. Somebody has to lay it out, and then you got to do what they tell you. So, he's now been inundated with the right people, and he's seen different things, but now he has to go out and put that into effect. I agree, Bruce, passing the ball is going to be the big thing, and he's going to have a lot of opportunity to do that. Will he thrive on that? I don't know. That's what one of the questions we're waiting to answer this coming season. So that tournament continues, and we'll talk more about that as we roll on. Speaking of not tournaments, but things continued and scheduled, the Buckeyes. I noticed this one came through earlier in the show, and I say, man, I'm going to mention this before we go off, but I noticed that Notre Dame and Ohio State have signed on for it looks like a home and away 2022 and 2023. The Irish visit the Shoe September 3rd of 2022, so that's 7 years from now, 7 seasons from now. It'll be the 8th year. And then returning the favor, the Buckeyes go to South Bend September 23rd of the next season. So there you have that. I mean, with the way these games get scheduled so far out, it's so hard to talk about whether that's even going to be competitive or a challenge or for either team, because you never know. You can't project that far out to that. But the two names, it's big name value, and they've only, those schools have only Ohio State's won the past 3. Those two schools have only played each other 5 times, and Ohio State has won 3 of the 5 meetings. Last time they met, 2006 Fiesta Bowl, Buckeyes won 34-20. Last regular season home and home with those schools, 95 and 96. So it'll have been a gap of 10, 20, 27 and 28 years since they did it before. They're going to do it again. 2022, 2023, the Buckeyes and the Irish will renew that home and away series. So I wanted to tell you guys about that. Tonight, the Indians and the Tigers renew this series. Tribe put their back up against the wall with the first 2. You got to hold serve. Come out of this thing losing no ground, and you left yourself no wiggle room. All you have to do is go out there, not too difficult. Just go out there and beat one of the best pitchers in baseball. Max Scherzer takes the mound for the Tigers. We mentioned earlier, 15-5, 3.2 ERA. This was a Kluber stretch. He had a 10-start stretch in the middle of the season where he went 6-1 with a 1.78 ERA. However, since that, his last 3 outings, doesn't that sound just like Corey Kluber? Maybe that's just what happens when you go through such a strong run like that. His last 3 outings, 1-1 with a 5.8 ERA. Last time out there, 6 2/3 innings against Chicago. He gave up 6 runs on 9 hits, struck out 11, didn't walk anybody, and he lost 6-3 against the White Sox. So he comes in, he's looking to bounce back and get off the schneid against the Indians. Meanwhile, Mike Brandenberry said it best. Hey man, you want You want to roll with the big dogs, you got to beat them. And Trevor Bauer, you got to go up there and be a big dog. You're going to have to match Scherzer pitch for pitch, inning for inning here tonight. 82 degrees, going to be beautiful. First pitch at 7:05. Can the Tribe get the split and then set the stage for the White Sox? We're talking about that tomorrow. Can't wait. I think it's going to be a good matchup. Bauer, I like what he's done. He pitches well at home. Scherzer, as we said, a little bit of a mini slump for a guy like him here the last couple of starts. Don't let him get righted again against the Indians. Go out there, jump on him early, and then ride it out. Let that bullpen. I don't care. Pitch a different pitcher